All right, guys, we are back with Engineering Major, Philosophy Minor. EMPM, of course, is the channel where you can get a working aerospace engineer's opinions on topics pertaining to engineering, philosophy, politics, and various other social issues. So I'm in somewhat of a good mood right now, and the reason for that is because I heard that San Diego just had a very big victory in terms of anti-lockdown stuff. Protesting basically the authoritarian control of our lives via lockdowns over COVID-19. And this is a big victory not only for citizens and patrons and consumers in terms of COVID-19, but this is a very big win for small businesses around San Diego. And as somebody who loves to patronize all the small businesses, especially restaurants around San Diego, I am super happy about this. And basically, what happened was there was some case essentially over a complaint raised by, believe it or not, strip club owners. Now, whether or not I agree with strip clubs in general is definitely a different topic of discussion. But in this particular case, apparently a judge ruled that strip clubs should remain open, and he also in this in his response he also talked about restaurants being open and things like that. So I heard about this from a number of basically YouTube news outlets, and then also some random messages between my friends and stuff like that, and group chats. And so I decided that I had to make a video, of course, being a San Diego resident myself. So I got home from work today, and I was really excited to look this up. And what I wanted to find was the actual judge's statement. So here's something which was a bit of frustration to me. So I go onto Google and I type in San Diego outdoor dining, and look at this. News article, news article, news article, news article. Well, these are the same articles that were above, and then it goes into, open table stuff and Yelp, because I typed in outdoor dining. So these are obviously irrelevant. Here is another news article, news article, news article. Okay, well, I want to find the actual judge's words. So maybe there'll be a link to it in one of these news articles. So I open this news article, come here, and I'm looking through. Okay, I see this tweet right here, and I'm like, okay, this has an official letterhead on it, so maybe this is it. Oh, wait, this is the county's response to a judge's ruling, which I'm going to get to in a second. But I'm looking for another link somewhere in here to take me to the actual documentation. Can't find it. So I said, okay, maybe it's at this link right here. So I click this link, come in here, another news article, look through here. Are there any links to the actual thing? Oh, here's this tweet again about the county response to the judge's ruling. I don't want that. I just want the judge's ruling. Green light to reopen. So you follow this link, you come here. Is this the same thing as this? Oh yeah, they just link to each other. Okay. So you can't find it there. Then there's this tweet by this other guy. Keep going. Here's Javier Becerra's cease and desist order. This is the same guy who Joe Biden mispronounced his name and put him in the White House, or on his cabinet or his administration or whatever. Couldn't even pronounce his name, but still, I'm not seeing a link to where the actual thing is. So then I go to the next article, which is Fox 5. So you click this, come here. All right, Little Italy Association, stay-at-home order, rising coronavirus case rates, some stuff about ICU capacity, which we'll look at in a second, especially related to that tweet. New COVID infections, 39 hospitalizations, blah, 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 blah. I guess I didn't click this read full article, but here I can't seem to find a link to the actual judge's ruling, right? So then I type in San Diego judge ruling on restaurant's official document. Here's an article from LA Times. Here's an article from KBBS. Here's an article from the San Diego Tribune. Here's an article from CBS 8. Here's an article from Washington Post. Here's an article from Kusi, right? So I go through LA Times. Do you have a link to the ruling? Let's look through here. Let's look through here. Let's look through here. No, right? I don't want the LA Times editorial opinion on this. Like, I just want to read the actual ruling, right? So then go to KBPS. Apparently there's a segment of a podcast right here. Where's the link to the actual ruling? San Diego Union Tribune. Come through here. No links to the actual ruling. Finally, you get to CBS 8, and I actually want to watch a portion of this video right here in a second, which started playing randomly in the background, and I heard some stuff that kind of upset me. But you come here. Here's again this tweet about the county response. Finally, here is the actual document that I'm looking for right here. Now, actually, before I clicked on this, I went to this QC News article, and they actually have Judge Wolhfeil, hopefully I pronounced that right, sorry if I didn't, can be read here. And that takes you to the actual document right here. Not going to read the whole thing, but let's take a step back for a second. And let's actually go ahead and look at this tweet right here. So let's zoom in on this tweet a little bit. The state and county are analyzing the scope of the ruling and discussing next steps, which includes seeking clarity from the court. Until we have clarity, we have suspended enforcement activities against restaurants and live entertainment establishments. So obviously live entertainment being the strip club, but then also restaurants. Awesome. With record numbers of new infections, deaths, and ICUs at capacity, we want to remind everyone to do your part. Please don't gather, socially distance, wear a face covering, and wash your hands. Okay, so there are a lot of new infections. That's true. I haven't looked at the data in a little bit, but I think that deaths have been increasing significantly. I can't say off the top of my head if daily deaths, but that might be in the data that we look at in a second. But here, ICUs at capacity. Well, I tend to look at the daily updates for San Diego's ICU capacity and COVID data right here. And this was updated of December 16th, so yesterday. Here we have our case positivity rate. Of course, this is a 7-day moving average. They only include back to November, so it's hard to see what these numbers mean in the context of previously. Now we have the hospitalization. As you can see, we're seeing an increase. Yellow is COVID patients. But then you come to this right here. Daily hospital bed census. COVID-related patients in yellow, current beds in use in blue. Look at that. COVID doesn't even make up a quarter of the hospital usage. And by the way, this is the 80% bed capacity, right? So we're not approaching the capacity. We're approaching the spillover that's reserved for COVID-19. What's going on with that? You know, somebody who's watching this, if you work in the San Diego hospital system, please correct me. Please help me understand what this is. Okay, let's look at the ICU beds. Oh my gosh. The current ICU bed capacity is 683, this green line right here. Are we at capacity? No. We're at 84% capacity. Guys, what? Now, 295 versus 277, so apparently COVID-related ICU incidences are making up a little bit more than 50% of the ICU bed occupancy and capacity. So, fair enough that maybe is a little bit alarming as compared to maybe in early November, 128 to 373. We're only making up maybe a quarter to a third of the ICU bed capacity, but still 84%. I mean, you guys can still do more work. Come back to this tweet. Where are we here? We come back to this tweet. ICUs at capacity. Not true. Record numbers of new infections. Possibly true. Deaths. So as you can see here, associated COVID-19 deaths, you can see that there has been a decent spike in deaths that is greater than it has been previously. So that's obviously bad, and we want to prevent that. But then to continue this on with ICUs at capacity, based on what I'm looking at here, only at 84%. We're not at 100% capacity. We do have COVID spillover here. Granted, that's not ICU, but there's still spillover. So I would like somebody to fact check me on this and help me understand why they're saying ICUs at capacity and, friggin' trying to panic everybody with record numbers of this and record numbers of this when this third thing isn't even true. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the judge's ruling right here. So obviously this is a 9-page document, no reason to read the whole thing. So here's the important part right here. The court finds that, based on this record, 1, the harm to plaintiffs if the preliminary injunction is denied is greater than the harm to defendants if the preliminary is granted. And 2, it is likely that the plaintiffs will prevail on the merits of one or more of their claims. Pending the trial of this case, defendants, and each of them and their respective agents and assigns, and any governmental entity or law enforcement officer are hereby enjoined from enforcing the provisions of the cease and desist order or any related orders, including the state's regional stay-at-home order that prevent 1, plaintiffs from providing live adult entertainment, and 2, the San Diego County businesses with restaurant service, such as the plaintiffs' establishments, from continuing to operate their respective businesses, subject to protocols that are no greater than is essential to further defendants' response to control the spread of COVID-19. The court emphasizes that the reach of the preliminary injunction is limited to plaintiffs providing live adult entertainment and 2, San Diego County businesses with restaurant service, such as plaintiffs' establishments providing restaurant service, subject to protocols that are no greater than is essential to further defendants' response to control the spread of COVID-19. Here they say that the defendant, which apparently is the city or something like that, is enjoined. Now, if you look up the enjoined definition in law, prohibits someone from performing a particular action by issuing an injunction. So here they're saying the defendant, the city, governmental entities, law enforcement are prohibited from enforcing the cease and desist order on live adult entertainment and businesses with restaurant service. So, thank you, Judge. Oh my gosh. Finally somebody stands up to this type of stuff and doesn't want the government to force people out of business when it's unclear whether or not indoor or outdoor dining services or even indoor dining services with proper protocols, as they say here, you guys can do this subject to protocols. There's no indication that these particular establishments are the reason for increase in cases, deaths, or ICU increases. And of course, the ICU isn't even actually at capacity by San Diego's own data, unless you guys can prove me wrong. So now let's go ahead and listen to this little video right here. Probably need to get headphones. Be right back.
County suspending enforcement of restaurant closures while it's reviewing a legal decision on a separate ruling. News 8's Evan Ronnie is live in Chula Vista now with a closer look at this decision, including...
Let's listen to Evan Ronnie. Let's listen to what he says.
Where we go from here. Good morning, Evan.
Good morning to you, Eric, and Netta as well. We are...
First off, Eric says, where do we go from here? I'll tell you where we go from here. We start patronizing businesses that are open, and we take the protocols as noted by the judge's order, and we all be respectful for towards each other, follow as best we can the guidelines and accept the risk.
We are starting off the morning, with some new news from a judge that came out just late last night in a preliminary injunction. A judge ruling that strip clubs in the county can remain open, specifically Cheetahs and Pacers. Now,
Oh, wait a second. Did he just say strip clubs? How come he doesn't mention this? San Diego County businesses with restaurant service. How come he doesn't mention that?
the ruling came as the judge says that the county and the state were not able to provide any evidence that there was a correlation between positive rise in cases of COVID-19 and their strip clubs being open. Those strip clubs also providing restaurant services. This is the same.
So, you know what? There's also no evidence that it contributed to a rise in cases is gyms with outdoor facilities, which fortunately are allowed to be open, but then also just gyms generally. And okay, let me correct this for a second. So in PB, there was a gym that decided to reopen. Or actually decided to defy the lockdown orders the whole time. PB stands for Pacific Beach, for those of you guys who don't know San Diego. Sorry about that. So apparently there were like 3 cases or something like that of people from the gym. Now, there was a bunch of news articles about this, and everybody made a huge deal about it. And, you know, when I would talk with people about gyms needing to, defy and stay open, they'd be like, well, what about PB, man? What about PB? So I decided to look into PB a little bit. 3 people. Was not clear if they were staff or patrons. Was not clear if they got it from the gym. Now, the climbing gym. Multiple emails. In fact, on this channel, I read a very email which stated that there has not been one case linked to the climbing gym that I go to. And there also has been a single case linked to any climbing gym, including ones around here that have decided to defy lockdown orders and stay open. So that's a little food for thought too.
Same judge that ruled previously in favor of strip clubs, now creating some confusion on the county level. County attorneys saying they don't know now what their ability to enforce restaurant closures is. So for the time being, the county...
Oh, it's not clear and it's created confusion? Let me help you out, bro. Let me help you out really fast. The reach of the preliminary injunction is limited to plaintiffs providing live adult entertainment, strip clubs, and to San Diego County businesses with restaurant service. I don't really know what's unclear about that. What upsets me about this is, first off, I come into Google and I just want to find this document. And I have to go through search after search after search, and it's not provided on any media site. Why not? How come this isn't the first thing that comes up? I don't understand. And then I see this tweet. This is the first thing that everybody sees. The county's response. Talking about record numbers of this, and that, and this third thing, isn't really substantiated by the county's own data. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Leave a comment below if you disagree. Absolutely, if you're somebody who works in the medical field and I am misreading this data, please comment below and correct me. If you comment below and correct me, I will make a video explaining the correction, explaining why I was wrong. But what I'm seeing here is that we're not at capacity yet, and yet we're locking down. And thankfully, this judge has stood up and ruled in favor of so many businesses that have just been absolutely crushed by these lockdowns. And I only wish that we could get more rulings like this from other establishments like gyms, the climbing gym, boutique clothing stores, just boutique stores in general. And instead what we have is, places like Target and Walmart and Home Depot just packed with people. And small businesses are just getting crushed, restaurants included. And on top of that, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you know that I'm an avid opponent of lockdowns. I think that they're a waste of time. I think that individuals just need to be shown what the risks are and basically need to be able to make their own decisions. And if, we run into hospital capacity, well, once you run into hospital capacity, that's when the government should say, what can we do with hospitals? Like think creatively here, right? Like what can we do with hospitals in order to increase the capacity or in order to handle something difficult? Instead, they're just saying, well, we need to lock down everyone and everything, even though not everyone is going to end up in the ICU. So it's just, in my opinion, it's very non-creative thinking on the behalf of the government, that lockdowns are really the only solution. California's been locked down and masking the whole time. It has not worked. You might be able to look at the data and make a case that it worked a little bit at the beginning when they were the most severe lockdowns, but it's over now, guys. Like, if it wasn't over before in the last videos that I made, it's over now. You can't control it. So you just need to do the best you can and stop limiting people's freedoms and think creatively outside the box of how you can manage the ICU capacity. By the way, in the first lockdown, you guys said that you wanted to help out the ICU capacity with measures that would take time, and that's why we locked down. Well, apparently you guys didn't implement anything because the ICU capacity is still the same thing that it was in the very beginning. So you're just trying to, you're doing the typical, the typical politician approach to things where you think that there's just one knob that you turn and that controls everything. No, think creatively. Let's build special hospital things. Let's get the ship, back over here or whatever, but we're not even at ICU capacity yet. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully I'll be getting another video out soon regarding the Gulag Archipelago, which is something that I have been very excited to talk more about on this channel. So stay tuned for that, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.